he's a guy, he's got an ego in this game. He's got a name that he wants to live up to. And I think he wants to kind of, seal the deal here. So I think he's going to come out swinging up here in the top right-hand side of Everdream, the red Zerg, EnDerr.
Down in the bottom left, he is the blue Zerg, NXZ.
Pretty standard openings for both sides so far. Going to be going for a 16 hatch on both sides of the map. NXZ starting about half a second earlier, but all things considered pretty much identical. So we're not going to see that all-in drone pool on this map. And if it was going to be on these maps, I definitely thought it would be on this one. So I think we're going to see some hatch first openings for the most part. And of course, a gas and pool. Now, I think the thing we haven't seen as much recently, and maybe it's due to the map pool, but we haven't seen very many gasless wall-offs in this region, right? We haven't really seen anyone just kind of saying, hey, let's drop an Evo or Roach Warren and, rush up to Roach speed with a couple of extra queens. It's been a lot more quick third base and kind of Zergling, Baneling skirmishes.
You're absolutely right. I actually can't think of the last time I saw someone do that. It's sort of like a one-off event, really. So yeah, from the ZVZs we've seen so far, it's been a lot of your usual 3-base, Ling Bane, maybe a bit of a poke with that, but more likely into Roach Ravager or Muta. But one thing I guess there is to note here is that NXZ in a couple of series now has pulled out quite a bit of Ling Bane aggression off the 2-base. Not necessarily headed into the 3rd base either. But I'm not sure if that's the move against EnDerr.
Yeah, EnDerr definitely comfortable in those scrappy scenarios, and always cool to see just the stylistic difference between regions as well. There's times where even Korea, they love the gasless wall-offs. EU, always loving the rush straight to Roach game. But I feel like our region has always enjoyed a good, honorable Zergling Baneling knife fight. Embrace the chaos, the madness, and just say, hey, let's both micro our hearts out. And you know what? If you're not good enough at that game, you're going to get way behind really early in the series.
Yeah, and that's something that we saw up against Risky in our previous match. He just stayed so cool, calm, and collected that whole time. And NXZ was trying his best to break him, get some real damage done, but wasn't able to make it happen. And I think he could try that against EnDerr, but like you said, EnDerr's kind of built a name for himself in that scrappy, weird position that you can get yourself in any game. So yeah, however, that said, we may not have a Baneling nest from NXZ, but we do have a lot of Lings and a Roach Warren.
Yeah. I like this build order. It's a classic. I remember, I think it was like Lambo taught me this build back at the very start of Legacy of the Void. And big Ling Flood, get some pressure on your opponent's side. And, you've got Banelings for EnDerr, so he should be fine. But actually, those Banelings are starting a little bit late. His Baneling nest has been done for ages, but he didn't start them straight away. And should have enough Zerglings to keep his 3rd alive, but look at this. NXZ just forcing some good trades in behind it, going straight up to Roaches, skipping the Baneling nest entirely. If he gets the snipe on the 3rd, that would be huge, but those queens coming in a big way, and I think NXZ overcommitting on this 3rd hatch. Yeah, he loses a lot of Zerglings there. I guess the hatch so weak, and he's just got to not get tempted. I think keeping these Lings alive as a threatening force is such a valuable thing. He got over-eager and over-aggressive against Risky. Keeping these Lings over here, definitely going to be a really good force that he can utilize.
Oh no! Yep, there's that temptation you were talking about, biting him in the backside there, and now his own 3rd is under siege. Now he does have his own Lings coming. He's going to send his Roaches directly across the map here, though. Don't forget, EnDerr did spot that Roach Warren, I think, when he poked in before, and he's also got a lot of more Lings coming. He will be able to pick off this 3rd base. NXZ is just going to go for it.
NXZ's going back to roots. This is old school Roach Bane attack follow-up. NXZ so worried about that pack of Lings on his side of the map. He's got to get Banes made on the front. It's all about the combo of the Banes and the Roaches. Oh, great positioning. EnDerr wanted to get a bit of a surround there, but he can't really engage on the ramp. And the thing is, the Roaches guarding the Banelings, just putting out consistent, awesome range damage, being so tanky. As long as you keep Banelings guarding this and just keep a constant stream of Banes morphing, it's very hard for EnDerr to engage. But already two of the Banelings went down. NXZ needs to morph more Banes. Once these Banes are gone, the Ling Flood will just overwhelm the Roaches. But there's no reinforce for NXZ.
No, and that was a huge hit on the Roaches. They're all so weak with the Queens on the front lines as well. And EnDerr beautifully targeting down those Banelings. This is it. And the GG comes out from NXZ in a very quick game, number 1.
A little bit over eager to force the issue there was NXZ, and I think, you know, it can work. It's such a crisp attack where those Roaches come out so quick behind the initial Zergling aggression. You're like, okay, cool. I kept my dirt alive as EnDerr. Let's drone. Let's recover. Oh my lord, there's Roaches coming out. But suddenly your Banelings take out all of NXZ's threat on your side of the map, and it just simplifies the situation. You can, oh, okay, I can mass Ling Band at home. These Lings can get your third. We saw NXZ pull drones off his natural, pull his Queens to his ramp, completely stop reinforcing his attack. And then EnDerr just kind of pulled back, surrounded the army, wore down the Banelings, and really clinical textbook hold from EnDerr. Really impressive play.
Yeah, he's looking so solid this tournament. And here's that big moment where NXZ crushes all those Lings in, and I feel you, bro. You want that hatchery when it's so low, but then with this follow-up, just not quite enough. It looks promising for a second here, right? But then that Baneling clump comes in. These Roaches are already getting pretty softened up, and after that, there's just not enough momentum left for him to get anything done here.
It's a dangerous scenario as EnDerr when you don't have anything except these Queens as range damage. If those Queens go down, you know, you don't have spines. He was trying to get 2 spines up, but if there was a Ling Bane reinforced there, and like I said, you've got to have a constant stream of Banelings, just because even one Baneling running in circles around the Roaches says, hey, you can't surround this with Zerglings. You can't engage, and it kind of forces EnDerr to go in a few units at a time and take really inefficient fights. So I think it was a cool game plan from NXZ. Wanted to get the series off in a good way, but maybe not quite as fluid as he should have been in the action. He committed a lot to the speedling pressure, and he ended up, I think, staying a little bit too long, went back in a bit too hard, and just needs to loosen up in his play a little bit, maybe. You know, goes down 1 game, 0 room for error left. It's only a best of 3.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a bit sudden death here for NXZ, going into Death Aura now for our second match. And he has to pull out all stops because his tournament life is on the line here. He needs to step it up. I mean, I think he's been looking good, though. I love the ideas that he's had. He's mixed it up a lot, especially since the weekend. You know, he's got all kinds of strats that he's going for. When I logged on to Battle.net just before the broadcast, I saw him in customs with other players, just smashing these out, trying to get it really crisp. It's just these little things that are going wrong and throwing him off.
It doesn't work out in game 1, but still more chances to bring it back here. And they are, of course, just getting the lobby going for the next one. So very excited to see there as we get the region correct. But yeah, Zerg versus Zerg, it's action-packed. And, you know, I like the Roach Bane as one of these builds we just so rarely see these days, but I think it still has such power to it. And there's a real clear logic to that sort of style where you want to keep your opponent busy and force them to make mistakes. I think it's scary in these high pressure tournaments to play a very defensive style, right? When you're sitting back, it's so easy to miss a flood of units coming out across the map or something like that. And as a result, it does often lead to a player going, oh, where did these Roaches and Banelings come out? You know, where did this Ravager Ling come from? I expect Ryan NXZ to do something like, you know, a quick muter tech, to do something like the Nidus Roach attack. I don't think he wants to sit back. I really do think he wants to take the fight to EnDerr.
Yeah, he's been turning up the heat a lot. And this is something that I think has been a token part of his play over time, is that he hasn't been afraid to be the one all-inning off 2 base. He doesn't mind throwing out some cheeky builds. It's whatever's going to be the win, not necessarily sticking to this tried and true style that he's played since forever. That may work for other players, but for NXZ, he's very, very flexible, and I think that's a strength of his. So let's hop into the second game on Death Aura as we have loaded in now and see if NXZ can put some points on the board. And this is the man in question in the bottom right hand side of the map in the blue, NXZ.
Viper in the top left-hand side wants to seal the deal with an aggressive game 2. It is EnDerr. Wait. He's not even building more drones right now?
No,
Or an overlord?
extra spicy.
Wait, what? Oh, he's doing the fake hatch. It's the build Scarlet knocked Rogue out of GSL with. Oh my.
Yeah.
He's build a hatch to fake it there. I really think this is one of the silliest builds I've recently seen beat some of the best players in the world. It's incredibly genius and silly at the same time. You're doing essentially the fastest Ling Bane rush of all time, but you're slowing it down a little bit by squeezing that hatchery in to give off the idea of, hey, look, I'm just expanding and playing a normal game. You have no follow-up. It is the most all-in attack you can possibly do. You have even less drones than you would have off the normal one-base Zergling Baneling. It is something that is all about surprise, catching your opponent off, and just taking them out with one fell swoop. Now, the thing that I would criticize this build for is there is no way to flood Banelings behind it. It is just Zerglings. You can't afford the gas. If the defensive player gets their queen solid on their ramp, I think it's very hard to do even a snipe on the hatch, let alone get up the ramp. But it just matters, you know, will NXZ react quickly? Does he get on the ramp? Does he get Zerglings on the ramp in front of those queens? And if he does, I think he'll be, you know, well positioned. I think you can even lose your natural hatchery and still be ahead. But I think the aggressive player often baits the other player off the ramp, trying to defend the hatch. And if you let EnDerr surround you, you're just going to get all your fighting units eliminated. Those Zerglings are going to win the game very quickly.
Not sure if seeing that Overlord just leaving now would give him a bit of a tell there, because yeah, the thing about this build is if you're the opponent, you think, oh yeah, this looks normal, you know, hatch is up, mine's up, seems legit. But it's all about that surprise factor that you mentioned.
His Overlord going too far left is NXZ's, but oh, it's okay. The Zerglings do come into vision. He sees them coming. He's got to get those queens on the ramp. He's got a third hatch down. He builds a spine, and it is on the high ground. That's brilliant. As long as his queens get on top of his ramp, and he puts his drones on hold position in front. Oh, textbook response here. I think NXZ's dealt with this one before.
He looks very ready. 10 lings on the way. They're slow lings. A nest behind this, beautifully holding with the queens and those drones on hold position in the meantime. So he's just going to bide his time here, hope to get more units. Queens haven't taken a scratch yet.
Yeah. He should get more Zerglings out. He might need to pull a few more drones over. Oh no, the Zerglings managed to push those queens off the ramp. You know what? The drones come, but I think they're a little bit too late. The extra Zerglings aren't quite here. NXZ, he's still up 4 workers and up a hatchery. His Baneling Nest is almost done, but after losing those queens, he's got to be careful. The spine, though, a fantastic anchor to his force. He's trying to keep that Baneling Nest alive. Even if the Bane Nest goes down, I do think it looks like NXZ, he's just got to make sure he doesn't take a fight where he's outnumbered in the Zergling. Zergling battles, when you've got a couple more, you've got so much more damage output. It's okay if he loses the Baneling Nest as long as he just stabilizes.
Yeah, EnDerr's realized this isn't going quite as well as he'd hoped, so he's starting to squeeze in a couple of drones behind this, but making some links at the same time. 2 Banelings do get some morph, and NXZ gets a nice hit there.
Nicely done there. 15 drones versus 13 for NXZ. His third hatchery is finished as well. So the thing is, he's got a Baneling Nest, he's got gas, he could just push across the map, and you know, it definitely fell for it, did NXZ, but that defense on the ramp was textbook, and that is the specific thing that I've ranted about. The weakness of this build is a Zerg who really defends that ramp well. I do think NXZ was a bit slow to pull his drones, but still comes out of it, I think, in a great position. Don't get me wrong, EnDerr's droned up quite well here. NXZ still's got to be careful, as Zerglings are very bruised. But we've got just 1 queen at home. No second queen even here for EnDerr. He doesn't have a lot behind this.
Yeah. NXZ needs maybe just a second more to get a few more units up here. The Baneling joins the fray as well. EnDerr's done a pretty good job at avoiding any too drastic Bane hits there. He does manage to pick off that one from NXZ, but NXZ continuing to pressure here. He's got almost double the length of his opponent.
Yeah, he's taking really confident fights. You know, I might have backed out a few of these and second-guessed myself, but NXZ has picked really good fights there. Pulled back whenever he's outnumbered and he's morphing Banes. He's starting to drone behind it. Don't get me wrong, he's down 4 workers, but with the third hatchery up, you know, I think he can still be totally fine in the follow-up. It's just about taking efficient fights, and right now he's forcing a lot of Zerglings here out of EnDerr. I've just got to be worried about the counter-attack here for NXZ. You know, he's got to make sure that after this attack fizzles out, he's got some Banelings up at home.
I think he's looking just fine though. There's no real production
Wow.
here for EnDerr. No queens, and he's starting to run out of limbs in some of these engagements. NXZ is still just has so many more units. He's got
The
more
Banes.
Banelings morphing.
Yeah, if those finish, I think, and they will. EnDerr goes for it, but it's too late. One of them finishes, does get a decent hit, not the best hit, but it's still good trades here for NXZ, and now suddenly he's in that worker advantage. No queens on either side. 6 minutes into a Zerg versus Zerg, 3 base versus 2, 0 queens on the map. This is the sort of crazy knife fight that I wanted to see today.
We're being treated to a masterclass on how to defend this. Big hit there for EnDerr.
Oh,
Get a
still no
little
Banes
bit.
at home. But,
Yeah.
he's got the spine anchoring his situation. Still no queens in production for either player. I'm amazed neither of them's really kind of left, gone into that next step because they're just so broke and they're saying, hey, the best defense in this scrappy situation, it is actually to just be the one attacking my opponent. But NXZ right now, he doesn't realize there's 5 Banes morphing. He's going to go for a big Ling backstab, but there's Banelings at home for both sides. It's all about these defensive Banelings being managed on both sides of the map. Who's going to use it better? Ling's dart on past into the base. NXZ's trying to come back here. These Banelings threatening his ramp. Oh, I think NXZ might be in trouble. This is a great maneuver here, but a good Baneling hit from NXZ. 2 Banes going to hit his mineral line, and they find the money. 5 workers going down there. A really great pickoff for EnDerr, and puts himself back in an economic advantage. He's still down 1 hatchery. The 4 drones, when you're on such a small economy, that's massive.
Yeah, it's a game of inches here. I mean, 12 workers to 16, now 13. NXZ is probably looking to squeeze a few more workers out himself. Similarly, though, EnDerr trying to get one in here and there when he feels comfortable. They're both keeping up that scrappy fight again. NXZ has an overwhelming force of Lings on the map. He's just got to make sure not to take any huge hits from those Banes if he wants to keep being aggressive. He gets a good scout off here, just committing a couple of Lings, and he's going to get on out of there. It looks like he's decided to sit back for a moment. 3 Banes wandering over here for EnDerr, but it looks like NXZ is keeping an eye on that for the moment.
I really wish NXZ would keep up the aggression here. I think, oh, good micro, good micro. I think EnDerr here has wriggled his way out of what was almost a checkmate. When those Zerglings and Banelings were in his natural expansion, it really looked like EnDerr was about to lose the game. But now EnDerr's actually up in the worker lead. He's getting ahead. He's got 1 queen, a 2nd queen on the way. NXZ has really just not found stability in this chaos. And it feels like, even though they're both relatively close with no queens building yet for NXZ, I mean, he's got the 3rd hatch production, so it kind of makes up for it. But it just feels like EnDerr is just that little bit more comfortable in this madness.
Yeah, perhaps just a little bit more practice in this scenario. I'm not sure, but he's continuing to move ahead with his tech, going into lair now. NXZ took the opportunity for a nice big round of drones there, so he's maybe a round or half a round ahead at this point. Still looking for damage with a Baneling or 2. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he'll be too successful. Yeah, not quite. But definitely a little bit quieter now on both sides of the map.
Those queens now starting up here for NXZ. He's down 2 workers still. There's 2 queens pumping the injects in for EnDerr. So that 3rd hatchery, which was such an advantage for so long, with the queens being so far ahead for EnDerr, and now his tech going down. He's heading up to 2 base muter. Feels like a nice position of control. I feel like from here as NXZ, you are going to struggle to play a very stock standard game. I think big waves of Ling Bane pressure can be good once your opponent takes a 3rd, but I don't think you're going to crack into 2 base. I think you've got to kind of drone up a little bit harder. Ling upgrades actually might be an amazing choice if you find out that it's mutas. As I say, that Nevo chamber does go down, so I'm hoping NXZ goes for some Ling upgrades. I think it's the right call if he can realize this is mutas, and seeing a spine and gases, he should know that. Whoa!
Yeah, and actually, this is a really nice exchange for NXZ. He's going to get all the way in here. He can take out the spine. There's not really anything to defend. And he's got Maulings coming in. Queen goes down. Baneling being saved for a rainy day there as NXZ keeps taking these favorable little skirmishes. Not sure any drones have gone down, but he sneaks into the main as well, sees the lair, and sees the tech.
Oh, EnDerr really just survived a dangerous point. He's so lucky that NXZ sent that single Baneling back. If it came in, I think we could have seen 5 or 6 more drones go down. I mean, that was just absolutely ballsy, wild, risky play from EnDerr. He's just like, I got 2 Banes. You got a ton of Ling Bane coming at me. I'm not even going to make an extra Baneling for safety. Almost pays the iron price for that one, but in the end, he survives it. And we see Roaches on the way for NXZ. It looks like he feels he can't catch up. I don't think Roaches is going to get across this map in time, Zeph. I feel like NXZ, he feels like he's really far behind. He's going to try to keep the momentum up, but I don't know. These Link Bane, it needs to do more than this. The muted production is about to start, and there's so much gas saved up for EnDerr.
Yep, he's heading across with those Roaches now, morphing some Banes here right on the front lines. Now would be the time to try and pick those off as EnDerr, but I don't think he knows about them. 4 meters in production now, that's not a lot. He's still going to need to rely on the spines here to get him through. He's got the Queens here as well. If he defends, he'll be looking pretty good, but in come the Roaches and Banes.
There's a narrow window of time. NXZ's got to get the work done right here, right now. Those Banelings looking for big hits. The Spine does get taken down. Now, the other Spine's very close to finishing. Oh, great Baneling hit on the Zerglings on the ramp from NXZ. He does need more, though. He's got to find more units. The Spines just aren't quite ready in time. Damage going to start to come in, but NXZ needs more than a little. He can't just kill 5 or 6 workers here. He's got to get at least 10 or 15 worker kills. He's brought a Spine Crawler with him. Absolute Chad move from NXZ.
Oh, he's in the main too, where there are no spines. Now burrowing his own in that natural, continuing to flood more and more lings. Can he do it here? The main has had to be evacuated, and he's now targeting down that spire in the natural. A few more units trying to target down those drones. And like he's killed. I mean, it's going up for NXZ.
He does clean it up now. Remember, there is a lot of mutas out. 8 out, soon to be 10. The Spire survives. EnDerr does survive here, but he's on 19 drones versus 32. NXZ has an extra hatchery. The problem for NXZ is there's a lot of overlords out of the map, so that's some potential damage, but I like these Zerglings hiding on the left. Now, if he can wait for those mutas to get a bit further out on the map, and just start backstabbing with Zerglings, you don't even really need Spore Crawlers here as NXZ. I mean, he's building up his Queen count. He's got his drone count starting to explode. He doesn't really need to worry about harassment for a while, but EnDerr, really good scouting. Does not get surprised by this. He's already on top of those lings, and I think NXZ's got to pull back. He can't overcommit with this because EnDerr's just so well prepared.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. EnDerr's reading his mind like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to try and backstab me right now. He's making a round of lings preemptively as well. And now he's going to head across the map with both parts of this army. The spores will be finished, but Lair only just now starting to get close to being done for NXZ. More Roaches on the way with the +1 missile. But again, he's put on the defensive with these mutas.
So many queens. He's just got to pull every queen to the front. The problem for NXZ is he hasn't gathered them up yet. And we can actually see that Spore get focused. Really nice move by EnDerr. I feel like if all the queens pull down from the main and the third, they can just like fight these mutas straight up. But EnDerr, he's like, he's winching open the what should be an unbreakable situation. But look at that. If he gets these queens, that's a good start. The Spore gets a few big hits. But 1 muta for 3 queens, well worth the trade. EnDerr's still on 19 workers though. And I mean, he gets this Spore as well. No transfuse going down. But as these queens come down, there's so much transfuse. And NXZ, oh my lord, what a crazy game. Barely manages to find the window before the mutas hit the map. I regret ever doubting him. I was like, nah, these Roaches aren't going to get out in time. There's not enough of a window, but he gets in there. Those Spine Crawlers seconds from finishing. Finds a way to get in and do the damage. Honestly, just sick play from NXZ and just a wild game from the start to finish.
Yeah, that's the kind of ZVZ we love to see. Really, really back and forth. I cannot believe that EnDerr survived as long as he did. For a while there, I was so sure that he was dead. NXZ was ahead. He was taking better fights. He had more lings. But EnDerr's defense is really good. He's been obviously really nailing this style that he's playing because he's almost unbreakable. And you also mentioned, you know, he was getting into NXZ's base when really you feel like it shouldn't be possible anymore. So finding all those little bits and pieces of damage really, really counts on that low drone economy, highly aggressive style.
Just to go ultra specific here, because he had injected already with those queens, you can see, you know, it would have been amazing if he'd spotted this slightly earlier and saved, because then he could be saving for transfuse. As it was, these drones did a great job. You'll notice I don't think the queens were actually both on hold position, so they already got shoved just a little bit. And you're going to see them get shoved again. So no hold position on the queens. Big mistake there from NXZ. If he was on hold position, these queens survive. They get closer and closer to transfuse energy. He could pull those drones, and then as the queens get to red hit points, you actually manually pull them back and kind of replace them with drones and Zerglings. And EnDerr's still kind of all stuck in that choke point. His units are stuck behind each other, only a few attacking at a time. and he's unable to get that big damage done. So I think one crucial mistake in an otherwise perfect defense from NXZ. That one mistake made the game a bit closer than it could have been. But, you know, it was great micro from EnDerr. He was microing the Zerglings to make that happen. He fought down and dirty. It was back and forth. Ling Bane battles for so long. I think it was 7 minutes before the first queen popped out after those first two died. And I mean, this is just the funnest Zerg versus Zerg. I'm hoping we get a game half as crazy as that one from map 3.
Yeah, it's going to be on Ice and Chrome for the third map. Nice big one. And yeah, it could go either way, but judging by the way that NXZ has approached his ZVZs recently and how that last game went, you know, we could be in for another rather violent one. I thought that was a good time to try that build too. For EnDerr, obviously he's up 1, and you know, if you're going to take a risk, that's the best time to do it. Maybe not something quite so crazy for a game number 3 in a qualifying match for the next phase of the tournament. But yeah, we could very well see that sort of Ling Bane aggression part of the game happen again.
Well, we are going to be going into map number 3 on Ice and Chrome, one of our new maps. One of the bigger ones as well, a lot of space around the edges of this map. It's going to be, of course, the decider match. See who makes it out in second place of Group A, representing the Philippines. A really scrappy game in the last one. Let's see if he can close out the series. In the top right, it's EnDerr.
And the Aussie in the bottom left, spawning in the blue trunks. This is NXZ.
EnDerr is drone scouting. So that's interesting. I was like, hey, why is he going 17 hatch? That's not what he normally does. 17 hatch is fine. It's not bad, but he just wants to actually play super safe. That's really cool. EnDerr is like, you know, I'm just not going to take chances. I'm afraid there's an early rush. I want to know what's going on. And just says, you know what? I'll take my hatch 1 supply later. I will make sure I know what's happening. And I'm going to go 3 hatch before pool. Oh my lord. You psychopath, EnDerr. He's going to go drone scout 3 hatch before pool. What a madman.
Who does this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of on brand for EnDerr, just knowing what he's like, though. I mean, back in the day, he used to go a really quick 3 hatch and like dump his 3rd hatch in his natural as a wall. Like,
Yeah.
if there's a guy that's gonna do it, it's EnDerr.
The classic EnDerr macro hatch / wall off build. Definitely don't miss playing against that one. It felt like you'd see it and you'd go, is this good? And then he'd kill you with it. You go, I guess it's really good. I don't know. Like, it just throws you through a loop when you see this. Now, I think what's so crazy about this build is that 3 hatch before pool is dicey against a normal hatch gas pool. If they choose to do a Ling Bane pressure, you're kind of like on the back foot. It's hard to really get the drones to pay off. You know, you kind of have to get past this narrow window of extreme danger. And because you've drone scouted, you've given up a lot of minerals already. So you're kind of going mega greed for the start here. And we're going to see a very interesting interaction because it's facing off against a classic build. Scarlet's pulled this out many times. NXZ is going very fast +1 melee. So he's going to start Ling speed in a little bit. And the thing is, +1 melee takes longer to upgrade. So they're going to finish around the same time. And he's going to be doing a 2-base +1 melee Zergling flood across the map, which, you know, it's a great attack. I don't know how it's going to line up with these timings. Is EnDerr going to have Banelings in time? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's not too far off. He can get it now, and he is going to drop it right at the front there. So it's a little bit of time until that +1 actually kicks in, but NXZ can start making Lings pretty early here. He's going for his own Bane nest, so it looks like we may be in for another bit of a scrappy Ling Bane sort of fight. I can't help but feel with NXZ's upgrade advantage, so long as he controls well, he should be able to come out on top. And EnDerr almost gets in there.
Yeah, it was really good blocking. I feel like if they know it's coming, it's such an average build. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll make some Banelings and like just always have a few extra Banelings around, but great info denial. His Bane nest like maybe a few seconds late as NXZ's, but it looks pretty normal, you know? And you don't really realize anything's going on here, but a safety Baneling already morphing. EnDerr sending a Zergling across the map. 6 worker advantage for NXZ. So NXZ's actually going melee, but it's like a macro, and I really thought he was going to commit to a big old
Mm.
flood, but he's kind of just progressing. And I mean, you've been talking about the Muta style, you know, that he's loving. I think this transitions perfectly into Mutas. Get a bit of Ling Bane aggression going across the map, and then just go up into Mutas behind it. You've got better than normal Zerglings. It's all mobility. It's a big map. It's a great way to start things off here, and that lair does go down behind it, but a good all-off on the natural from EnDerr.
Yeah, absolutely. The third is going to be the tricky spot to defend. He's going to pull back with that queen a little bit and let the Lings lead the charge there. Get a bit of an engagement. More Lings coming in for NXZ. He's not committing too hard to this. So we see him, squeeze out the odd drone in the background. It's just a bit of a pressure to keep EnDerr honest as he continues on to trying to get that lair tech out. So he's a little bit ahead on the drones here. But, oh, nice. EnDerr might get himself a queen pick off. Oh my god, no way.
The downfalls of, you practice all day with a bit of latency, and then you get to maybe play a game here with lower ping here on the Singapore server, and you pull back. You think it's going down. 1 hit point queen survives. She's going to get a bit of regen. Oh, he says, wait a second. That's a different queen. You subbed her out. There's a full hit point healthy queen on the third. NXZ doesn't have creep between his natural and third, so one weakness here is he doesn't have queen mobility. He can't really rotate between attack angles. He's got to be really tight with the Baneling control.
Yeah, and gets the Baneling trade with one left over for himself. Nice Bane hit there from EnDerr, from NXZ rather, and he just barely denies that Link from seeing the Spire.
I'm not sure if he saw that actually.
No,
yeah,
I
think
didn't.
maybe. Yeah, it was so close, but guess doesn't quite get there. That would have been so nice if he saw that. 15 drones? NXZ! Oh my lord! Oh, lots of economy coming out. +2 melee as well, and oh, Zergling. Wait, well, 20 Zerglings just built here for EnDerr. So wait, what? But he's on Roach Tech. Whoa, this isn't. He's trying to. Oh, okay. So EnDerr wants to distract with Ling Bane and build for a big Roach attack. I think once again, Mutas should be ready for this, but if he can maybe find some openings, I mean, there's a spine in the third, a spine in the natural. NXZ playing mega safe here. I think he should be okay. He's just got to make a few more Banelings. He's really low on Banelings right now.
Oh, watch those Banelings. Oh no, 7 turns go down. Really nice hit there from EnDerr. Very, very cheeky. Still not enough Lings to continue pressing the issue here. And the Mutas are now on the way. So it's a +2 melee. So I don't think that'll quite be done for the Roaches to arrive, but it will finish up not long after. And that's going to be an advantage in being able to clean that up. Once
I think you can
they
just take these out, right? If the Lings come back and surround those Roaches with the Mutas wailing on them from above before they even arrive, I don't think Roach speed was fast enough. This fight with the upgrade advantage, I think, goes to NXZ as well. So he's going to start to hit on the other side of the map. There are more units rallying across, a big flood of Zerglings coming in with this, and there's no Banelings at home to stop that. So no Zerglings at home. NXZ was supply blocked when he spotted the Roaches moving out. So even though he saw it, he wasn't able to build extra units to reinforce. He's got a great drone count, but he's got to survive, and there's a lot of units coming in here for EnDerr.
Yeah, there absolutely is, but there's a lot of Lings. The Spine's still here. That Queen's going to go down, but the drone's fighting as well, and that Spine being extremely valuable, helping him clean up there. And just a few units left in the main. EnDerr echoing back to NXZ's last game, trying to target down the Spire. Will get cleaned up. More Lings coming in from EnDerr onto that third base. No Banes here for NXZ, but the Mutas are available to come in and help out here a little bit. That Spine will finally go down, but it doesn't seem like EnDerr's getting the damage he's quite looking for.
Still no Banelings on the defense, though. That is a problem for NXZ. Just 1 or 2 more Banelings around would really help stabilize. He's got the upgrade advantage in these Link fights, +2 versus 0, but oh no, the damage is starting to stack up, and this is just EnDerr's ability to thrive in the chaos. He's just creating enough issues and problems, and NXZ, he's starting to make a few small mistakes. He's got all the units he needs right now, but EnDerr, he's trying to pull.
You're
magic.
Kidding.
That is insane.
Yeah,
and this is.
I didn't even notice either. And he's getting burrow move on those Roaches, and this is going to be even more of a headache for NXZ once it comes in, to have to be not only mindful of all these different attacks, but have enough detection around to pick up on all these units. Now, he does find this cluster of Roaches coming in through the middle of the map. There are a few overlords to pick off. Maybe this aggression is finally starting to slow down for EnDerr.
Yeah, it feels like NXZ kind of had the tools that would have been perfect for the situation, but I mean, it's just it's happening to get supply blocked as he came out. If he had just another wave of Zerglings coming out initially, I think he would have. He was so well set up. He played the early game so nicely, and it's a little unfortunate that he's found himself in a bit more of a closer to even game. I would say he's still got the lead. Muta control is amazing in the skies. And as he pushes these roaches off, that's really important. Because, yeah, now he sees tunneling claws kick in as well, right after pushing them off the map. That's huge. If those roaches were able to kind of burrow and start getting in the mineral lines from an advanced position, I think this would be a much harder situation for NXZ. As it is, starts to take out Spore Crawlers, finds an empty mineral line. Big damage coming in for Premier League Jones. He is getting control of this map.
Yeah, the Overseer a bit slow to join the party, but does head in there to help pick up those drones. And EnDerr is going for a bit of a desperate attack across the map with the Queens going in for the engagement, but some targeting there is stopping them from being too effective. The Lynx cleaning up these roaches. They've got +2 and it's too much. GG. NXZ will take the 2.